Okay, today we are making Italian sausage and lentils for dinner, and I am using some of my homemade seasoned Italian sausage. And we are just going to brown that up. Okay, and we are on the way. We are pretty much done with the browning of the Italian sausage. Then what we are going to do is add 1 can of crushed tomatoes. These just happen to have basil in them. And I'm going to mix that around some and let that come up to temperature. Let those tomatoes come up nice and hot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead at this point and just take some reduced sodium chicken broth and clean out my can. We don't want to let any of that organic goodness go to waste. Okay. Oh, and there's a little bit in there still, so and there we go. Okay, and then now we're going to let those tomatoes come up to temperature. Wow, that's fast. Okay, and then this is kind of a dump recipe for me, but my kids love it and request it. I'm going to add 2 hands, maybe 3, of dehydrated onion. Oh geez, it does not want to get, there we go. And then I am going to add 1 handful of parsley. I am going to go with just a couple of tablespoons of garlic powder. Looks like maybe 2 or 3, depending on how garlicky you like it. And of course, because this is an Italian dish, I am going to go ahead and gild the lily and throw in 3 minced garlic cloves, and then some pepper, and then just maybe at this point 1 tablespoon of salt, and then I am just going to go hog wild with the Italian seasoning and go 2 tablespoons. Sorry about that. Real kitchen, real mess, real house. Spices get damp and stick to the bottom. And then I'm going to give this a little bit of a stir. Get all of that incorporated. And, well, why do I smell burning? Why do I smell burning? What's burning? Burning plastic. Burning plastic. Burnt up the tip of my spoon because I'm using a cereal spoon. All right. Take a little taste here. Awesome, awesome. That is perfectly seasoned. Okay. So here's also what we're going to do. We are going to add 1 cup of lentils, maybe 2, depending on how hungry your fam is. And these have already been rinsed and picked through. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with 2 scoops, literally 2 cups, 2 measured cups of lentils. And then you stir those in. And this is a 30-minute dish, and it has your meat and your lentils in it, your meat and your beans. So that's like double the protein right there. And I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of a box, of a 32-ounce box of reduced sodium broth. You can use chicken broth if you're using chicken sausage. You can use beef broth or pork broth or seafood broth or vegetable broth or no broth at all. You can just use water. And you know, with all the seasonings you're adding, you know, it'll come around. And so we give it one more stir. And you can leave it covered or uncovered. But when I discovered this was a soup, actually, you could add more broth and make it a soup. This is actually a soup from one of my husband's restaurants that he used to run for. My husband used to have a delivery business, and he used to go to all the restaurants and pick up the food and deliver it out to houses, you know, like places that don't typically deliver, like Applebee's and Chili's and Denny's and stuff. And he would go, and like Black Eyed Pea as well, and he would go to these restaurants, pick up the food, and then he would charge the customer a small fee. And he called me once and he's like, I'm bringing you home something a customer sent back, and the restaurant just said I could have, and it was of no cost to us. And I have this knack for being able to taste something one time and I can replicate it. So he brought me home this Italian sausage and lentil soup, and boom, I got it. And now it is just like a family favorite. It is a staple. And you can make it brothy like a soup and thicken it with a little tomato paste, or, you know, if you're, you know, in a bind, you can use a little cornstarch and cool water to thicken it, and you can have like a stew. You can let it reduce and thicken on its own and just have like a lentil and meat dish, you know, like a drier dish. But this tastes awesome. I like to leave it moderately soupy and put Parmesan on it and serve it with a crusty bread. But this is a real quick and a real easy dish, something that I learned years and years ago from when I was pregnant with with my 5th child. And oh, that was a long time ago. I spent all my 20s pregnant. But now we just let it simmer and we wait for 30 minutes. So we'll set the timer for 30. And we will put these down to a medium heat. And we will walk away to go watch Master Chef for a little bit. I love that Gordon Ramsay. Hi, here we are 30 minutes later. And my lentils are still not cooked. So I added another, 16 ounces of chicken broth, and I'm just gonna let it go until until the lentils are cooked. Let me make sure the seasoning is, the seasoning is still good, still right, spot on. I think maybe what might have happened is, I guess the flame must have been up too high. I'm not sure, but I am going to cover them and let them go for another 15 minutes. This lends credence to what my 20-year-old was telling me. He came shopping one night, and yes, my son brings grocery bags and takes from my pantry for his, and he calls me and he's like, Mom, these lentils have been on the stove over an hour and they will not cook. So I don't know what could have caused that. I don't know what causes that in lentils or beans, but these are not cooking in the half hour that I'm used to cooking them in. So we're just going to let them go for another 15 minutes and we'll see how they are then. We'll be back. Alrighty. And it's been 15 minutes and my lentils seem to be tender. So let me just give them a little try here. One crushed under the weight of my fingernail, so. Yes, that's good. So I am going to let this continue to simmer for just a little bit more. And what I am going to do is I am going to add just a can of Le Sueur baby carrots, or you can use fresh carrots. You'll just have to put them in a lot sooner. And just pop them in and let them heat through. So give them about another 5 minutes. And actually my husband is going to the red box, so this will actually sit here just enough time for him to leave and come back, and then we will plate it up when he gets home. Okay, and they're back from the red box, so we are just going to dip the husband out some of the soup and put a little Parmesan, and there you have it. Italian sausage and lentil soup.